Hey, what's up guys? This is PokerXpress, and we are back with another episode of Poker Hands.
So when I have one of the hands you've had against me and you have one of the hands against me, we're gonna see how it goes. I hear you, buddy.
Today, we're going to be taking a look over the Day 3 highlights of the 2020 World Poker Tour in Russia. Before getting into it, I would like to ask you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy our videos.
Your career is finished. You are gone, gone, gone.
Let's jump straight into the action.
Mikhail opening the hijack 25k, ace 7 of diamonds.
Pass.
Matas in a small. Walk down a pair of eights. And about 30 bigs deep, a little less so. No surprise to see him just flat. Not really play that hand any other way. Not ideal late in the big blind end, but Dimitri, of course, disincentivized to continue. When Matas peels from the small, of course, with King 10 suited, he will be peeling.
Call. Check.
Queen at 9, 6. Well, they all missed this one. Dimitri with the gut shot. Hard for Mikhail to fire on that board texture against a small blind peel and a big blind peel. It's right around Matas's wheelhouse. Broadway combos. Some high suited connectors. Deuce on the turn. Expect this to check through once again, and expect the river to check as well on nearly every card.
Bet. 42.
Oh, Dimitri taking a stab from the big blind with his gut shot and overcard. I kind of like this. Mikhail, hard for him to be strong here, having checked back that flop. Matas can still have some hands, but you'd expect him to bet most of his Queen X on the turn. Bar some traps, he's pretty capped. But with all those draws out there, Matas is gonna call. And well, rivers are set, but it does bring in straights and flushes. Don't expect to see Matas do anything but check call again here. And this is a pretty nice card for Dimitri to bluff. He has a 10. The clubs have rolled in. Don't think he thinks Matas has too many flushes. You'd expect Matas to lead the turn with most of the flush draw combos he'd have. Opinion from the small, they're going to be hands like King Jack of clubs, King 10 of clubs, Jack 10 of clubs. Maybe he can have the nut flush. Now Matas going the other way. Betting 25k. Just trying to get something out of Dimitri. Doesn't want him checking back. A 9. Trying to get paid from a hand like that. There's Dimitri with the 10. Thinking impure thoughts. And he could definitely have some flushes and straights here the way this hand's been played.
Raise 155.
Here we go. 155 and well, don't see Matas folding. Made a very weak bet on the river, having called pre, check call turn. Doesn't really have a whole host of strong hands. I mean, you can have the big hands like a flush, but does he bet 25,000 with them on the river? I'm not so sure. I think if you weak lead the river, you've just got a call here with a hand as strong as a set. You can have perhaps some hands like Queen 10, Queen Jack, but maybe go that way. No, okay. Matas does give it up. Nice play, Dimitri. Using that 10, running a big bluff.
30,000. Pass. Pass. Pass.
Yuri in the hijack. 30k. Ace, Jack of diamonds. Nikita, 9s in the big. See him do a couple of things here.
All in.
25 bigs. Does rip it in. It's going to be a little close for Yuri. Yeah, 25 big blinds. Nikita's ripped it in over the top. Problem is, as I was saying earlier, the incentive to peel from the big blind is so great with the big blind ante and a min raise. But how often are people light from the big blind? If Nikita had a hand like ace 5 suited, is he not more likely just to flat? I was going to rip hands like ace king, ace queen, some of these pocket pairs. But does he rip king jack suited? No, doesn't he? Just peels. Again, different if Nikita had been in the small blind. But from the big blind, I think Yuri's just going to fold this. So Nikita knows he's flipping at worst with this tank. He may well have called against a small blind jam, but not against the big blind.
Call. Showdown.
Well, he does make the call, alright. A huge pot. Here, 800k coin flip. Nikita's 9s at risk. Yuri's ace jack of diamonds are looking to spike. King 10-3, all a suit, all red, but not Yuri's diamonds. Needs an ace, queen, or jack. Or a king. All the biggest cards in the deck working for Yuri. King it is. Well, that's a gutting way to lose. Yuri up to 1.1 million. Courtesy of that flip.
Каждая карта ты подбирал. Не, 30,000. Pass.
Yuri under the gun. With the table big stack now, making it 30k. Ace jack.
Call.
We saw this earlier with Nikolai. He likes to play hands. He's calling in the hijack 7-4 suited.
Pass.
Dimitri, the other end of the spectrum, folding 9-7 suited from the cutoff.
Здесь бы точно закрыл.
I'm surprised he folds that.
Pass. Точно бы
Pretty deep.
8 прям.
Calling position. Well, action flop, jack, 5, 6, Nikolai the open-ended, backdoor hearts, Yuri top pair, top kicker.
Impossible.
You snap call? Next time.
Roll дама.
Ты посмотришь туда. Не король дам.
Yuri counting out the continuation bet. 100,000 the pot exactly. Goes to 40%. Nikolai wasting no time calling with his draw.
Сейчас скажу 8, он сейчас расстроится.
Никак.
And picks up a flush draw to go with his straight draw on the turn. Huge turn card for him. Yuri with the jack of hearts in his hand himself. Pretty key card here. It's blocked Nikolai having the jack that's now turned flush draws. Should a heart come.
Так, 120. All in.
120k the bet, and Nikolai snap jams his combo draw on this turn. And wow, Yuri's going to feel sick. He has top pair, top kick. He blocks the jack X flush draw, like I say, although you wouldn't expect that to jam the turn. Worried about Nikolai having a set of fives, a set of sixes, or jack 10. Those are the three hands he's worried about. Hands he beats are some of these draws, but would he expect Nikolai to flat the flop with a flush draw and jam the turn with it? No, probably not. Does he think Nikolai has a hand, maybe like king queen of clubs, 8-9 of clubs, 7-8 of hearts, something like that that may have picked up outs and jammed the turn. It's a tough spot for Yuri. 340k to call.
Ну, дело не в том, что я, дело в том, что диапазон расходит, поэтому.
I can't see him making the call unless he makes some sort of read on the timing, the snap jam. Does Nikolai snap jam with a set? Does he snap jam with two pair? I don't know if he does. Only if Yuri. He could pick up on that. Could he make this call?
Never.
No fold.
Remember, Nikolai, pardon me, Yuri open under the gun and he's bet twice on this board.
You can try next time. You have a shot.
But how often does he have better than this? His hand almost better than aces in the sense that he blocks jack 10.
Это его мнение. Он не учитывает то, что у него и шире, и попу, и шире.
You wouldn't guess Nikolai's the one all in.
Он-то точно две любые.
I read anything of him.
Call. Showdown.
Yuri does make the call, and I'd like to say that timing had a part to play in that. And Matas says, wow, there's a lot of outs heading to the river. A 3, an 8, any heart. 1.1 million chip pot. And it is the 3 of hearts. Nikolai rivers a flush up to 1 point. Matas under the gun, raising up jack 9 clubs. Well, we know Nikolai's playing king 10 suited. With 7-4 suited last hand. And that 7-4 suited getting to showdown. It's going to incentivize a lot of players behind Nikolai to squeeze when he does peel these opens. I'm not sure this is necessarily one of them. Being Matas is open under the gun.
Хочет в Лондон переехать просто.
Он к вам переезжает, все, мы его закроем
UK,
въезд в Россию.
UK.
Инструктор. Меня инструктор.
Можно хуже так начать играть с таким
Да.
инструктором.
Очень опасно. Тебе нравится?
Что? Не могу судить.
Нет, просто нравится или нет?
Без комментариев.
Не, мне кажется, что он играет хорошо, когда с учетом того, что если цель финист попал,
Мы не знаем его условия, как он вообще, ну,
раскованно.
это его стиль. Не мне его судить.
8, 7 deuce, couple of spades, Matas, 2 overs, a gut shot draw. He's going to fire out here, but it is Nikolai, of course, behind with the king high and the flush draw in great shape.
Ну, в целом, да. Он понимает, что он делает, это самое главное. И что он может позволить себе делать. И это окей.
Three of hearts on the turn.
Сейчас вообще редро должно быть.
No help to either player. Matas, looks like he is cutting out another bet. It's hard when you're playing against a player like Nikolai who has such a wide range. I just don't think you can continue here. Yeah, he does check. Nikolai happy to check back. And bingo on the river, the offsuit 10. The best card in the deck for Matas. He has the nuts. Nikolai just river top pair. Now, Matas trying to work out what Nikolai has. Quarter raise pre, quarter flop bet. Can he have a hand like 9-10? How big does Matas go on this river? He's going to check. This is going to work a treat. Nikolai cutting out a bet with his top pair, and Matas gets the check raise with the nuts. Right, so I don't think Matas thinks Nikolai has much at all here. Giving him a chance to bluff. Little does he know, he actually has river the 10. Matas, bet something like 175. Going bigger. And 250. This is a horrible spot for Nikolai. Made his hand on the river. Bet when Matas has checked twice and now faces a check raise. Really hard to give Matas strong hands here. Surely fires. The hand's better than one pair on the turn. And you can see why it's called. It's really hard for Matas to have strong hands there. Well, is Maxim going to take the bait?
All in.
That's exactly what's happening. He's laid the trap. Totally snapping, and Maxim needs to find a 4. Well, he will be eliminated here at the WPT Russia.
Значит, швак рейзим все пошел.
And that's exactly what he's done on the 994 flop. Of course, an ace or queen. Still outs for Anatoly. That's what spiked. Just a 4 again for Maxim will do it. And that's that. Spiked a 4, but it's no good.
If you enjoy our videos and would like to see more, make sure to check out the links in the description and follow Party Poker as they are providing us with their content. Also, make sure to comment below what you would like to see next, and we will work on your ideas as soon as possible.
Throwing in a couple of oranges. Natalia in the big, calls with 5-3 of the same suit. And that's not a bad flop for 5-3. Ace, deuce, 4 rainbow. Flops the joint. How hidden that will be. Anatoly going to see that, of course, having opened and seeing an ace high board. And he's gone quite big, it looks like here. Follow me, he's gone 30k. I'd say, you have to go small on this kind of board. Natalia just has so many give ups now. She has called, but there are plenty of hands she might fold to later streets, to more aggression, some deuce X, some 4x. Will Anatoly fall into the trap? I suspect not. I suspect this was a one and done job.
Check.
No, I say I suspect it's a one and done job, but it's Anatoly, and he just always fires. 75k this time. Now, does Natalia spring the trap? Only be 210k more, and the pot will be over 300k. But the only hand he really calls with would be an ace, and I think you can expect him to 3-barrel an ace anyway, so I like the call. She had a similar spot earlier where she turned a straight with 10-9 on King Queen Jack. She check jammed. This is actually more of a reason just to call in this spot, given he's going to value jam all the hands that will call your check raise anyway. She does call, and of course she could have picked up some outs here. 4x, deuce X of hearts. We're going to call the turn. She has some pair plus straight draws, 3, 4, 4, 5, these kind of things. Well, a 4 is a bad card in that respect. Anton not really being anything now. I mean, his bluff would be successful against barely anything now. Of course, he knows he's not winning. She just leads out, and he snap folds. How's Vlad going to play ace-3 from the small? Not a hand that does particularly well three-handed. Rate of limp. That's what he decides to do.
Raise 125.
Anatoly says, have some of that, adds 100k. And that will be the end of this hand. Anatoly taking a hand in Jack 5 offsuit that is very poor. Play 3-way, using it as a bluff.
Fold.
Look at this. That's sniffing it out. Does make the call with ace-3. Very surprised with this ace-3 off. Out of position. King Jack 8. Anatoly takes the lead.
Check.
Vlad's going to find it so hard to play this hand post flop against Anatoly.
Bet 16.
Anatoly betting very small. I like it. 60k. Kind of a weird spot there because Vlad shouldn't have too many folds on this board when he limps in and calls a 125. Hard to imagine him not having at least a gut shot. Albeit a rainbow board, it's very connected towards the high cards. As it is, Vlad, I mean, has to fold now really. He has so many better hands to continue with. 8-9, 8-10, 9-10, Jack 10, Jack 9, Jack Queen, King Queen, all these hands are going to continue. Don't need to continue with ace high.
Raise 135.
We also don't need to do this. I'm lost at what's going on here. It's raised at another 75k. Of course, Anatoly will be going nowhere. And it's a really bizarre hand. Kicked off all from Natalia's limp on the button with 10-9.
We raise 200.
I mean, Anatoly's cutting out. What is going on here? I literally have no idea. Anatoly's 3-betting the flop with second pair. For what reason, I cannot possibly tell you. has plenty of good enough hands just to call with that jack. I just don't know what this is supposed to achieve. He's either up against the bluff or he's beat.
Проверочно, да? Да, все.
Victor in the hijack, ace jack. He's going to raise.
50,000.
Pretty solid game as well, Victor, as does this man Dimitri. You see them do much out of line. Natalia, 15 bigs. She's going to rip them in. And she should face a call here, bar anything happening in between. Victor with ace jack. Had enough to call. Not wild about it. Is a race. Natalia at risk. Should be able to win the pot. We'll get to a peak stack, 835k. So far so good. Backdoor straight and flush draws for Victor. Wouldn't mind seeing a red card near that queen. That is not one of those cards. Just an ace or jack. Jack it is. Well, just in the nick of time, Victor makes a pair. And Natalia busting out in, I believe, 20th place. Alright, and I'll tell you the next seat, ace deuce off. Thought about it, but thought better of it. Victor in the big, this will be an easy pill. 7-5 of diamonds. Well, flops an open ender on 10-8-6. Couple of hearts, Vlad with the second pair and the 8 of hearts. Board that obviously is very coordinated, but he has a strong hand here in the second pair with an ace kicker. He even has a heart. Could see him doing both here. Thing is, in this kind of text, if you are going to bet, you've got to bet a bit bigger and get himself in some spots with the second pair.
Sure.
Yeah, you just have to check it back. And bingo on the turn. Expect Victor's going to want to bet this one. With the bottom straight draw, just 7 high. Wow, look at this, he's going big. He's trying to rep exactly the kind of hand he's up against. He feels Vlad may have some showdown. And wants to bet huge here to stop Vlad calling with some superior draws. Nothing worse for Victor betting 7 high here and getting called by better draws, so he bombs it. Unfortunately for him, he's bombed it straight into an 8. And I was going to question what Vlad was going to do against a small bet, whether he would raise the turn. Against a big bet, I don't think there's anything he can do here other than call. Dream scenario from having checked back this flop. Seeing the 8 diamonds roll off. And I really like this bet from Victor.
Cool.
If Vlad has hands like Queen Jack, 7s, 9s, these kind of hands. Well, a hand with a 7 or 9, they just can't continue. And well, flush completes. Vlad makes a backdoor full house. Victor has to have some concerns. Definitely Vlad can have an 8, having raised pre, check back flop. You can have hands like 8-7, 8-9. Pair and gut shot type hands that would check back that flop for sure. Don't know how much 10x he has checking back. Again, you'd expect hands like 10-9 check back perhaps, but 10 with an overcard probably bets. Actually, that's not true. He's going to bet a lot of almost all his 10x. So when he does call the turn, he is weighted towards more 8x, I guess, but it's just hard to ever give someone trips. Don't forget, Victor's bluffs include hearts. So Victor may well decide to follow up here. Rep either a made hand on the turn, 8-6, 8-10, that kind of thing, or a rivered flush. I imagine he's going to go something like 375, 400 if he does bet. He's gone a lot smaller, 250. Vlad in dreamland. Full acting mode in play. We know he's raising. We know he's going all in. You'd imagine all in. Perhaps he can come out with a less than all in raise here. Got to work out what Vlad's bluffs would be. It's hard to imagine him turning just a naked 8 into a bluff. Victor really just trying to make a Vlad fold a hand like 9s, a hand like 7s, some 10x. And like 6-7 or 6-9 even perhaps. Don't think Vlad really ever has an ace in the spot. The only ace he could have conceivably was the ace of hearts. This is a fun hand. I think Victor's played this hand really well. Just unfortunate with the run out.
All in.
He does move it in. Oh, Victor thought the tank might be preceding a fold, but it was preceding a jam. Vlad up to 1.8 million.
Raise 60. Pass.
Dimitri under the gun, kicking things off with a raise. Queen on a spade. Alexei, now fresh off that double up, finds king, queen suited on the button. Expect him to call this one. Very playable hand. As we can see, dominating his opponent.
Call. Pass. Call.
Victor takes things three-way, peeling from the big with 10-3 suited. And wow, what a flop for Dimitri. Top 2. Alexei, top pair in the backdoor king-high flush draw. Victor, of course, just a gut shot. Surely Dimitri going to continue here. Already 225,000 chips in the pot. Expect to bet around about 100k. Only is in with about a pot size shove for the turn, should he wish to take it that route. He's going slightly larger to make the shove on the turn that bit easier. This is a coordinated board, of course, albeit rainbow. Alexi with no choice but to flat here.
Call.
Eight of hearts on the turn. Well, not a great card for Dimitri. Doesn't really change anything. Can't really expect Alexi to have kings or aces. Queen 9 still figures to be best. And what's for Alexi? Picking up the flush draw to go with top pair. There aren't really many combos of an 8 that Alexi can have from Dimitri's point of view. 8, 9 of spades, not an option. So he has a 9 of spades in his hand. 8, 9 of clubs, only one.
All in.
He does decide to rip it in, and I think Alexi's just going to have to shrug and call here. Top pair and a flush draw. Obviously, rather his opponent have some hands like King Jack, King 10 of hearts to call, but you can't have those. We see 1.35 million chip pot. Alexi needs heart or a king. Those are his outs. Heart it is. Ace of hearts on the end. Dimitri. Oh, he says, wow. He's pretty unlucky on this table. Double up Alexi, of course. Alexi. Roman in the hijack. Ace, queen, 12 bigs.
All in.
Those are the magic words. All in.
350.
Oh, Vlada having a little think with ace 9 of diamonds.
Call.
Does call in a cutoff.
Pass.
Roman will be very happy to see the situations. Edward gives up King Jack in the big, surely. Oh, I don't know what he's thinking about. He could certainly have called the original jam, but with Vlada calling in the cutoff, King Jack is clearly a fold. Bad news travels fast. Vlada's face drops when he sees the trouble he's got himself in. Queen Jack 10. Well, Roman pairs the queen, but Vlada picks up 4 outs for the win and another 4 for a chop. He wants an 8, but he'll take a king. There it is. King for the chop.
2 pair.
65,000.
Anatoly +2 raising it up. Ace Jack of spades and Alexi. Well, might get himself in trouble here. 19 big blinds, ace 10 suited. It's Anatoly. And that is why he has jammed. And it's going to get round, and Anatoly's not going to love it, but he's going to call.
Как назло, одномастные.
Obviously he's going to love it when he sees the situation.
Не, в смысле слоуролил, реально есть над чем подумать. Блэкджек, блэкджек.
Boyko in need of help. Filatov, the better stack and the better hand.
Сейчас в окошко черву положит. Пики сильнее, ну вот, видишь.
Well, that is a big flop for Alexi. Nut flush draw. Has some split chances now as well. There it is. Easy game. Alexei up to 1.2. Anatoly down to 1.4.
Call.
Bladder limping in. Jack 3. Anatoly checking his option with 7-4. We see Queen, Queen, Deuce. Couple of spades. Both players with a spade. Anatoly's 4. Pipping Bladder's 3.
Check.
Bladder does check.
Check.
Anatoly. A rare check from him, to be honest. Bladder probably figures out the best hand here. Jack high and a spade draw. Really gonna check call this Jack high, I'd imagine.
Check.
Anatoly just trying to make his flush. Well, board double pairs. Bladder all but certain his hand is good now. He will be check calling. Anatoly, if he's to stab, he's trying to make hand like 8 high or 9 high fold. 10 high. Well, Bladder pulls a face, but he ain't folding this.
Repair good.
Surprised he's taken this long already.
Call.
7. Jack, of course, call. Snap.
There we go. Says it himself.